So before I go ahead and hop in the shower and lay it down, I made it to one of my destinations before I get to my final spot. So first and foremost, thank God for allowing me to make it to where I'm at safe. I'm at Idaho Falls. I'm about to lay down, rest, and get comfortable. So I know a lot of people are asleep right now. I know some people kind of have issues laying down, insomnia, fuck, you ain't got to go to work tomorrow. So it's like all kinds of things going on. One of the things that I wanted to discuss was the level of energy and how we feed on poisonous people, right? And how that really contaminates us as individuals. Now, I made a post earlier, and I really wanted to go into a little bit more detail about the post because I didn't want to offend anybody, or I didn't want to offend a specific gender, especially when it comes to my sisters. I said a real king would never feed on her sacred chakra as if a woman isn't balanced or has issues. Well, first and foremost, it doesn't matter if you're a king or queen. What matters most is that if you really truthfully are in tune with yourself, you'll learn not to feed on people who aren't really at a balanced, healthy point in their life, right? And I say this with all sincerity because, in essence, one of the things that I always try to explain to my kids is that if I eat a poisonous plant, I get sick and I get ill, right? If I eat a sickly animal, right? So if I'm a hunter and I see this animal that's weak and I prey on it, but it's weak because it's sickly. But for me, it's an easy prey, right? So I prey on this animal that's sickly and weak because it's easy. And then when I do finally get what I want and I devour it, I feel ill and I feel weak because it was ill and it was sickly. So a lot of times, what you sisters will overlook is that the attention that you receive is not necessarily because you are at the best point in your life, right? And this is not all, but we really have to be honest and transparent about this. Sometimes your vulnerability is a way for men to prey on you and vice versa. A lot of men are very vulnerable in the sense of they desire love. They want to be that man to take care of a woman. They want to be a family man. And so there's some sisters who are unbalanced, and there's some kings that are very unbalanced that prey upon the vulnerability that we express, the transparency that we express. Meaning that, sister, you are very successful and beautiful and you're moving in the right direction and you're healthy, or you're trying to be as healthy as you can be. But there's still some unbalance when it comes to your emotions. You've been through some situations and you express these things, and that's a state of vulnerability. So sometimes, based off of the individual, they'll see that as a sign of weakness. And what happens is that when you sisters feed off of a man that is sickly when it comes to the aspect of he is not healthy emotionally, he is not healthy mentally, he is not healthy spiritually, then you become ill, because the lack of his ability to be able to express his emotions in a very balanced, secure, healthy way will rub off on you. Because when he doesn't know how to explain and express himself, and he busts out and he lashes out in different emotional ways, now that tends to rub off on you because you're feeding off on that type of energy, right? And vice versa. I've always really expressed to my kings, like, yo, look, when we feed off of a sister, right? And I'll be very honest and transparent and admit, there's been some times in my life where I've connected with some sisters and I fed off of the energy of some sisters who weren't balanced, right? And because they weren't balanced, I became unbalanced. But then I also had to realize that often I was feeding on the unbalanced energy of someone because I wasn't balanced to begin with. See what I'm saying? Because when you're unbalanced and you see somebody who is walking in faith and love, strength, and they have a different type of positive stride about themselves, it makes you think twice about approaching them because you know that they have a standard. But when you are unbalanced and you see someone else that's unbalanced, sometimes that person is very attractive to you because it seems like you have these relatable issues. But what I've learned is that some of our issues shouldn't be relatable because we shouldn't have those issues to begin with. Why do we have to have relatable issues? Why can't we resolve our issues internally first? Why can't we take care of ourselves? Why can't we balance and then seek the energy from someone who else is balanced, who can also give us what we desire and what it really takes, right? So many goddesses, and I'm speaking from a man's perspective right now, so many goddesses, you know, they describe themselves as these beautiful flowers that grow. And these sisters say, well, I need to be watered with love. I agree. I need to be watered with attention. I agree. I need to be watered with protection and provision. I agree. But sister, there are these beautiful exotic rare plants that are poisonous, that if I do come in contact, if I digest, if I rub, if I get too close, that is the death of me. Because not everything that is beautiful is good, and that's what we have to understand, right? And I'm not saying that some of you sisters are that, but I'm saying that there are some sisters that is that, most definitely. Because that's just who they are right now at that point in their life. And vice versa, there are some very rare exotic men who will get your attention, that will make you smile, make you feel good, extremely charming. And they are so desirable. But sister, if you digest his energy, then he is the destruction of you. You see what I'm saying? And so we have to be careful about the poison that we feed on. Because one of the things that we love, and again, in my post, I mentioned the sacred energy, because the one thing that I've always had to express to some of my sisters and brothers, no matter what is that, look, no matter where this sister or this brother is at in their life, no matter how low they are, no matter how high they are, no matter how lost they are, or no matter how confused they are, their sacred energy is still sacred. So sister, I know sometimes, and I speak to my kings as well, but from a man speaking to a lot of women and me seeing it from the opposite side of the room, a lot of you sisters feel like your energy isn't as sacred as it really is, because maybe you're going through something, or maybe you've been single for a while, or whatever it may be. But the reality of it is that, sister, no matter what point you are in your life, no matter how low you may feel, or no matter what you may think, every essence and every element about you is still sacred, right? So when you open your legs and you give that beautiful energy of yours to someone, often, although you may be disturbed on the inside, that doesn't constitute for your energy not to be sacred. So what happens is that this energy that we desire, because that sacred chakra down there, that beautiful loving energy, that powerful energy, because here's the very most interesting thing about your sexual energy, right? So let's just get the elephant out the room and speak on it. Your sexual energy, right? The most beautiful thing about it is that it's one of the most powerful energies on this earth. So sister, when you aren't balanced, your sexual energy being so powerful is powerful, but it's powerfully disturbed. So you can cause chaos in someone's life, and vice versa. Your sexual energy can attract chaos in your life. A lot of times, you sisters will give yourself to someone with all due respect, with hopes of love and happiness, and possibly having this individual the way that you desire. But if your energy and their energy is kind of chaotic at the moment, and chaos doesn't mean that this person is wrong or right. Chaos means that this person doesn't have their shit together right now. They still figuring it out. Now, there's definitely some toxic energy out there, but no matter how toxic it is, it's toxic, but it's still your sacred toxic energy. So we have to be able to cleanse that energy by balancing ourselves, by taking our time, by taking a few steps back, by basically getting to really know ourselves and really truthfully being transparent with ourselves, quarantining from all of the negative and really truthfully balancing out. So again, no matter what you say or what we don't say, all right? Like, when you feed off of a man that is unbalanced, you become unbalanced. So sister, when you call this brother and you give this brother the good morning text messages, and when you receive those text messages, and when you go through the arguments and you go through the fuss and the frustration, when you go through the uncertainty, when you go through the anger, the depression, and the loneliness, no matter what you go through, at the end of the day, when you go through this with this person, that person starts to give you what they have, right? So like so many of us right now are walking around with masks and walking around with gloves because we're so afraid to get sick and to get ill or to possibly die, or we're doing everything that we can to avoid the tragedies. But and the reality of it is that, yes, this is definitely a tragedy and things that are going on. However, we should have been protecting ourselves emotionally and mentally from day one. Do you understand? Not only in a physical sense, because gloves don't stop you from getting your heart broke. Gloves don't stop you from being in a spiritual, chaotic sense. Mask, no matter how many masks you put on, no matter how many goggles you put on, no matter how many hats and no matter how many different wigs and hairstyles and makeup and whatever you do, no matter how much weight you gain or lose, no matter what titties you get done, no matter what you do to yourself, that doesn't block your spiritual sense. So the way that you really truthfully provide a stronger and more in-depth spiritual sense about yourself is that you really have to learn what you're feeding on, right? Because I'm gonna be real with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I hit you in your inbox, like right now, if I say, hey, yo, sis, what's up? And we have a conversation, and that conversation is nothing positive, and you entertain that conversation, and it's nothing positive, you just fed off of some of my chaos, right? You fed off of some of my toxic energy. And so when you feed off of that and you give into that, now that rubs off on you. And I'm gonna give you a really good example of how this shit is rubbing off on people every day. So many sisters are like a broken record. They repeat how men are, how men are, how men are. But queen, I gotta be honest with you, not every man is the same. But I get it though, right now, you feel emotionally ill. You feel sick to your stomach about how some of these motherfuckers can make you feel. You just want to fucking throw up on the inconsistency that these brothers have provided, right? You just want to fucking get rid of just this whole essence of even trying, right? You just want to eradicate the emotions that you felt. But that's because you fed on the wrong thing. Sis, if I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna be real with y'all. You understand? I love Parmesan cheese. It's like one of my most favorite cheeses in the world. Like, I love Parmesan cheese, right? So like the other day I was in my refrigerator and I was like, man, Parmesan cheese, yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I'm gonna add it to my little salad and shit. You know what I'm saying? I got my spinach, you know what I mean? I got my garlic vinaigrette, some Parmesan cheese, but that shit had a little mold on it. And I know I got some mold on it, but I'm thinking to myself, it's cheese. If I take the part with the mold and throw it away, the rest of this shit ain't got mold, it's good. That's my selfishness, right? Because I wanted what I wanted so bad to where I overlooked the fact that this shit really wasn't as healthy as it really should have been. So what do? I indulge. I include this in a part of my daily feed. You understand? And so then, you know, later on that evening when I'm not really feeling well, I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I know what's going on. I totally disregarded and ignored the fact that I consumed something that was unhealthy. And this is what's really going on with so many of us in this world today, right? So many of us at a point to where we are consuming energy of people that we know is unhealthy. We're listening to lies. We're listening to inconsistency. We're listening to excuses. We're lowering standards. And so when we keep feeding on this toxic energy from people, it makes us lose a bit of ourselves. It makes us lose a bit of the clarity that we really truthfully once had and had hopes for. It makes us feel ill internally. It makes us off balance. And when we're off balance, the energy that we feed, not only to the person that we're feeding off of, but see, here's the thing, right? When I'm mad because of what someone's done to me, I reflect that energy on other people. And now other people have an attitude because of the energy that I reflected to them. But that energy, the source of that negativity, the source of that illness, that toxic energy came from one person that I shouldn't have never fed off of to begin with. But I fed off of that person. And now that I fed off of that person, I'm giving all of this negativity to everybody else. And now everybody else, and now that shit is spreading. Now that's how you get poisoned. And this is the reason why we are continuously fighting against each other. This is why we're so negative with one another. This is the reason why we can't really move forward. This is why this love thing is so slow rolling for so many people, because we haven't learned how to stop feeding off of the poisonous, toxic energy. And here we go again, like we keep discrediting this energy. We keep discrediting ourselves because of where we at and what we're going through. I see people do it all the time. I did it, right? So for a while, man, like when I was really, really super struggling, and a lot of people don't even know my story, and that's fine. But when I was struggling, like super struggling, like if I could really just turn back the hands of time and remove certain things that I did, not all things, because I can promise you that this is transparency. And yo, like to some of my good friends, I have to sincerely apologize because I initiated a lot of things because I felt like, what else do I have to lose? I have absolutely nothing. I'm losing everything. I'm at my wits' end. Now, these are good people, beautiful people. I respect these people. Will never belittle them, but I belittle myself. You understand where I'm coming from? So like, I gave them energy and I allowed them to feed off of me. And I presumed to be healthy, but really it was really toxic on the inside. And so a lot of my friends around me that fed off of this toxic energy that I made seem healthy, I know they were a bit confused. People were thrown off. Like I had a really good friend of mine inbox me the other day and say, hey, yo, listen, your videos from like 2013 and 2017 like really changed things for me. Like I really appreciate that. And I had to really think to myself like, yo, what happened to that level? Like what changed about me? And what changed about me is that I started to heal. But then falling into my healing, because there was a lot of chaoticness in my life, I went right back into that toxic energy. And I allowed that to consume me and mix with some of the good that was in me. And so, of course, you're going to throw people off. You're going to confuse people. You're going to be confused yourself. This isn't an excuse. This is facts, right? Because see, what's happening is that I'm feeding off a toxic energy. And that toxic energy for me was unnecessary attention. Inboxes and, you know, the smiley faces and the hearts and the kisses and all of the fucking attention that wasn't really like providing anything to me to the level of what it really should have been provided for me. So what I've learned is that no matter what situation you in, and I say this with all sincerity, not joking, like real talk. You know, I tell my good friends that, hey, yo, sis, like even if you're not in a relationship with this king, at least have a connection with this king to where like you and this king can really sit down and have a conversation and be okay. You feel what I'm saying? Like make sure that this king respects you and all less. If you don't respect this king, then don't give yourself to this king. Don't think that you're winning on the upper hand because he come eat the pussy and he make you feel good. If you don't really respect this man for his hard work and for who he is and his character, then don't give yourself to this man because now the energy is tainted. You know what I'm saying? Like now the energy is toxic because you aren't giving in a healthy way. And no matter which direction the toxicness is coming from, it's still toxic. And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, sisters. Your divine feminine energy is beautiful and powerful. But sis, if you allow a man to disturb that energy, then it's a powerful disturbed energy. Now, you know, I'm on some nerd shit. And one of the most beautiful disturbed energies was Jean, the Phoenix. She was so powerful, but she was so disturbed to where like if they couldn't really control her, she would destroy everything. And that's that divine feminine energy. It's so powerful to where if you allow that powerful energy to become toxic, it'll destroy everything around you because it's so powerful. You put so much passion into your love to where if you allow that passion to become that powerful but that toxic, then you will be fucking destroyed internally, or you will destroy someone else internally. You're so powerful to where you can nurture a man. But if that divine feminine energy is powerful, but that divine feminine energy is toxic, instead of you nurturing a man the way that you're supposed to nurture a man, now you are babying a man and taking care of a grown-ass man. And no one ever said that taking care of a man entailed you being his fucking mother. But that's what happens when that divine energy becomes toxic. You see what I'm saying? So like, listen, I'm never going to say that you sisters aren't goddesses and aren't powerful and that you don't have your crown on. Some sisters, yeah, you lost your crown temporarily and that motherfucker fell down. Pick it up. Do whatever you got to do. But we cannot be in denial that just because your energy is powerful doesn't mean that it's powerful in a good way. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So like, you know, they always say, let's not put the weapon in the wrong hands. Well, sister, you are a weapon if toxic. You are destructive, and I am destructive if toxic. Because just like your divine feminine energy is powerful, my masculine energy is powerful. We are all powerful. But if we are toxic, then we are destructive. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So all I'm saying is that we have to understand who we are feeding off of, what we are feeding into. Whatever you do, if you begin to feel ill emotionally, stop feeding off of the people around you and discover who is poisoning you. Do you understand? If you begin to feel ill mentally, stop feeding. Stop listening to the negativity and begin to really understand who is feeding this to you. There are so many things that is linked to energy that so many people are inclusive about, but that we know, we feel it, we sense it. It is your intuition, right? And so it's okay if you are feeling a little ill, but yet you have taken the right steps into really healing and cleansing that energy, that powerful divine energy. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I've learned that, and now here's some more transparency. Before, in my younger days, in my ignorant past, I didn't give a fuck how toxic you was. I just wanted to consume that energy. I just wanted to conquer and dominate you. I just wanted to have you submit to me. I wanted to be king. Even if it was just for a few hours. Didn't matter if it was making love, if it was fucking, it didn't, whatever it was. I wanted to dominate that energy, right? Because it was a hunger for that passion, for the lust, for the sex, for that sacred energy. It was so delicious. It was so powerful. It was so blissful and fulfilling. Even if it was toxic, right? And you got to think about it. There's a lot of toxic things that are so fulfilling. Girl, listen, I know you enjoy that glass of Hennessy, but you drink too much, it'll kill you. That's with anything. So we really have to gauge ourselves and what we indulge in, the people and the level of what we can and what we can't handle. Some people can drink, some people can't. Some people can have casual sex, some people can't. And sis, if casual sex is your kryptonite to where it destroys you, you can't handle it, then stay the fuck away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, stay the fuck away from it. And so with being transparent, I've learned that no matter how delicious that energy may seem or feel, it's got to be good, clean, pure energy. I can't involve myself and feed off of toxic people anymore. No matter how good it feels for that moment, it's got to be righteous energy. It's got to be loving energy. It's got to be clean energy. It's got to be something that's feeding me, that's making me more healthier. Do you understand? And sometimes we have to let go of things. We have to put things down. We have to let people know, hey, look, I love you. I fuck with you. I do. But this right now, I'm going to sit down just for a little bit. I'm going to sit down for a while. I may sit down permanently. Whatever it takes for me to be the better version of me, that's what I got to do. This is nothing personal. This isn't about you being less than. This is about me being the best version of me. Take yourself out of this because this isn't about you. This is about me. Do you understand? So listen, whatever you do, pay attention to what you're feeding off of. And stop feeding off of the toxic people around you. Stop being poisoned and wondering why you feel so ill on many different levels. Tonight, meditate. So it's a full moon. It's supposed to be the brightest and the strongest full moon of 2020, apparently, or one of them. Take this full moon, take this feminine energy, all right? Even if you're a man, embrace the energy. Really, truthfully, leave a lot of negative things in your past. I want you to concentrate, I want you to meditate, and I want you to practice on nothing but peace, positivity, and love, and strength, right? And I really want you to wake up and be the best version that you can be. I want you to wake up and I want you to stop feeding just for a while. Just stop eating and realize what plate is poisoning you. Because I had to stop eating and I had to figure out what plate was poisoning me. And sometimes the plate that's poisoning you is the plate that tastes the best. And so for some of y'all, the people that you love the most are the ones that's poisoning you. And that's a hard ass thing to accept. But this is where your selfishness was going to kill you at. Because when you're selfish and you want what you want, sometimes what you want is going to be the death of you. And you got to learn how to let it go. All right? But listen, I got to go take a shower. I got to unwind because I got a long drive in the morning. I love y'all. Blessings to y'all, man. Please make sure that y'all family stay safe, all right? Again, make sure that you guys are wearing your mask, wearing your gloves, doing whatever it takes in order to get past everything that's going on. To everybody out there that are essential workers, because everyone is an essential worker, but to my frontline essential workers, the people who are in the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, the janitors, everyone that's highly involved, all of the grocery store workers. Look, I love y'all, man. I'm praying for y'all. Y'all please stay safe for me, all right? I want y'all to know that, like, I care about y'all. I really do, and I really want y'all to go home safe. By all means, I understand that we got to pay our bills, but understand that you won't be able to pay a bill if you're not here or if you jeopardize yourself and your well-being. We would rather see you here than to see you in the hospital sick, all right? And if everybody could do me a huge favor, man, like if we all just like go to bed with a real strong prayer, some people are going to wake up feeling a little bit more revived and a lot better than what they did. So make sure that you do your prayer, your meditation, you send all the positive energy to everyone that needs it, including yourself. And really, really just think about what you've been feeding on that could be making you sick. Stop feeding on it and really truthfully start eating healthy, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and really truthfully balance yourself, all right? Peace.